worry that, you know, it's kind of like, here we come, you try to stop us. And a lot of times they'll try to get an extra blocker over. You see they shift the tight end back, and they're going to motion. It's kind of a telegraph to the defense. Here we come. We're going to get an extra blocker. Well, the defense knows that, but you still got to defend their best play. And in this particular case, you see they hand the ball to John Clay, and at the same time, Scott Tolzien will keep that ball on the keeper, fake keeper, out the backside, and he's wide open. Why? Because Minnesota is going to have to overplay that run because it's awful tough to stop. So just imagine if you're Minnesota last week and you worked all week on it, and here comes the motion. Everybody knows what's coming. The whole focus of the defense is in that off-tackle area, and then here comes John Clay, and at first glance, he looks like he's well defended, but he is a big guy. He's a load to bring down for less than about 5 or 6 yards. They do it off of different formations. Here the tight end's going to line up in a wing, and he's going to motion across, and then when the ball snap, he's going to come back on that off-tackle power play, gap blocking. But notice Minnesota here, they only have 2 defenders for 2/3 of the field, and you can see Tolzien on the keeper, the fake keeper coming up backside. He would have been wide open. Look at it again here. You know, if you're Minnesota, you really, or if you're Ohio State, Jim Haycock and his staff, they're going to have to defend this play. So everybody goes over there because they know if John Clay has a little bit of a seam like you see right here, and they don't have extra people going, this guy is tough to bring down, so you get everybody involved. So now here it is. Here's the play they got to start utilizing, Rever. They're going to motion the guy across, give the same exact look, their base play. The telegraph, everybody tell him, here comes that gap play to the tight end side. The ball is snapped, and watch Tolzien. As all the action's going to the right for Wisconsin, everybody is going to the left for Minnesota. They're going to overplay that play. But here's Tolzien on the keeper, out the backside, with the tackle slipping out, and he's already has the defensive back outflanked. And look at all that green grass off a simple play. It's made possible because they have to overplay that base play. And you can see Tolzien gets a big gain, and you know, might have taken it the distance, said he got caught from behind. So let's look at it again, okay? Again, you've been coached up all week. There goes the motion. You know what's coming. We've got to stop the run play of John Clay to that tight end side. So now when the ball snapped, the whole focus is in the off-tackle area. Even the safeties have their focus there because they know those guys up front need help. Now Tolzien keeps the ball coming out the backside, and you can see the tackle already has the safety outflanked, and it's a big gain. That's what Wisconsin is going to have to do. I'm not saying they have to run Tolzien on a lot of these keepers, but they got to run them more and early than they did against Minnesota. The other thing is they have 2 wide receivers, Isaac Anderson and David Gilreath, that are great reverse runners. I'd put a reverse in off that play.
And as Ohio's defense, I've got to stop that counterplay where the guards are pulling. I want to do it a little bit different this week. I want to be the linebacker coach, and I want to scheme against that blocking scheme as the linebacker coach. And I want to take you through what I would tell the linebacker. So let's take a look at the base play where the guards pull. I'm coaching number 30, and what I'm going to tell number 30 is that we are going to read the guard through the back, meaning I'm going to look at those 2 to diagnose the play. But I know this as a linebacker. If the guard pulls, I'm going to follow him because he's going to bring me to the ball. Because I know this about guards. They don't lie, and they always bring me to the ball. So there's the guard. I'm following him. I'm a little behind, and there's a tackle trying to block me to keep me from the gap that is where John Clay runs through, that gap that's shaded. One more time. I'm a linebacker. I'm going to key the guard through the back. If the guard pulls, I'm going to go with him as fast as I can. Because if I don't, an offensive tackle is going to get on me and not only block me, but in this case, hold me, and I'm going to avoid a gap. When the guard pulls, he tells me where the ball is going, and he tells me it's a run. It's 2 things I know about guards. They don't lie, and they bring me to a run play. Now let's look at Minnesota playing this better, this play 100% better. That linebacker 32 is reading the guard to the back. If the guard pulls, it trumps everything. Guard pulls, I go with the guard. I don't hesitate. In this case, 32 is right where he should be because he's in position where now that offensive tackle can't pin me in. Why? Because I got a good read on the guard pull, and now I'm front up with John Clay. I'm not sure that's a good deal, but I am certainly in the right spot. Once again, it's pretty clear. I key the guard through the back. If the guard pulls, I know the guard doesn't lie, and he takes me to the ball. Very well done by number 32 of Minnesota. I'm going to show it to you one more time, and then I'm going to go on to show you an example of Ohio State reading guards. Very well done by number 32. Now, Wisconsin's a very unique offense, so there is no similar play that I've seen as Ohio State defense this year. But I have seen guards pull. Number 51 is reading his guard, their offensive right guard, through the back. And you guys know this. You know that guards don't lie. You know that it's a run when a guard pulls. And you know if I follow the guard, he's going to bring me to the ball. Now, look at number 51. That is really well done. All I'm trying to do by reading the offense is to diagnose the play. Well, once I know the play, I just go play the play. And when a guard pulls, I go with him and I play the play. Now, once again, this is a little bit different than what I'm going to see at Wisconsin, but I've taught the basic technique. I've taught my linebackers, guards don't lie. It's a run play when the guards pull, and the guards bring me to the ball.
Okay, but what you're saying seems to fly in the face of the counter that Glenn had, that naked counter. If you follow the guards, you're out of position on that one.
Right, the play that Mace showed, the guards went opposite the ball. But remember, I'm the linebacker coach, so I've got to convince my linebackers how to get to the ball as fast as possible. And the way to do that is to tell them to follow the guards. They don't lie. The guards are lying to someone else in another meeting room who is responsible for the counter. But the last thing I want is a linebacker starting to scrape or worrying about reverse and counter. So I've got to convince my linebackers, you go as fast as you can, someone else will play that counter play.
So who's responsible for that naked play?
The defensive end should always keep the quarterback and any offensive player in front of him and the corner. Start defending Wisconsin, it starts with the run. One thing that makes it difficult to stop the run is they have two schemes that they use quite a bit. They have a zone scheme, which we've talked about, and a gap scheme. You stop one, they go to the other. Let's review the zone scheme, because we've talked about that the last couple of weeks, and then let me introduce the gap scheme to you. Let's start with the zone scheme. This is the base scheme that Wisconsin will start every game with. And we've talked a lot about how to defend it. We always say that you have to cross the line of scrimmage. That's what the yellow line is. And you have to penetrate with your defense. In this particular case, Michigan State penetrates with 4 defenders. They're in really good shape, as you can see the result of the play. It didn't happen all that much. Here's the end zone copy of the same play. The other concept about stopping the zone is containment. That's the blinking defensive end, number 89. He keeps the ball inside so that the penetrators can, in fact, make the play. So let's look at Minnesota against the same play against California. It's the zone play. What do we know? We know you have a good chance of stopping it if you cross the line of scrimmage. We have some penetrators across the line of scrimmage like we'd like to if we're defending it. In fact, we have 3 of them. What's the other concept in defending the zone? You must contain. Far left side of your screen, number 2 is the contain player. His job is to keep the ball inside and in front of him and force it back to the penetrators. And in this instance, Minnesota does a pretty good job of bringing the ball back to number 1 and number 2. But we talked a lot about the zone. Let's get into a new scheme. And this is, again, what makes it difficult to defend Wisconsin. They also run a gap scheme. The yellow lines are the lines of the gap blocking. The red lines are the guys that are going to pull from the backside to the front side. Let's do it again. This is a gap scheme. Yellow lines means I'm blocking the inside gap away from where the ball's going. Red means I'm pulling from what we call the backside to the front side. That's the definition of a gap scheme. But we're not trying to run it as Minnesota. We're trying to defend it. So let's see how you defend it. Yellow is the gap. Red are the pullers. I'm playing defense. This is Fresno State's defense. Number 53, the blinking defensive end. His job, watch it again, is to make sure that the ball goes outside of him. He bounces or spills the ball outside to his help. Let's watch Michigan State. They do a really good job of defending the gap scheme in this play. It starts with the offensive line blocking away from the play, and then we pull guys from the backside. Wisconsin tries to get it up the field. Let's watch the defensing of it. Yellow lines mean block your gap away from the play. Red lines means go from the backside to the front side, but I'm defending the play. 89 spills the ball. You see 36, he's unblocked. So he bounces it to 36, and he bounces it to the corner. Very well played by Michigan State. Let's look at Minnesota against the gap scheme several weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago against Syracuse. The play unfolds. We see the red lines are the pullers. We see the Minnesota defensive end spill the ball to 2 unblocked Minnesota players. Very well played on defense by Minnesota. Same play from the end zone view. The scheme unfolds. As soon as the defensive end recognizes it as a gap scheme, he makes sure that he bounces the ball because he knows that 32 will be outside and so will his corner. Very well played by Minnesota against Syracuse.
You combine that with the solid pass game that they have going, you begin to understand why Wisconsin is second in the Big Ten in scoring offense.
I'm Tom Thayer, and this is Thayer's Playbook. We're going to take a look at a very active Shea McClellan. Here's Shea on the inside linebacker position. As the offense puts this play in motion, they're going to try to isolate Shea McClellan. They're going to bring a tight end in motion. That makes it the strong side. Assume the point of attack is coming at you. And as you see this play unfold, they're going to bring the tight end back towards the center of the defensive line to try to wham Will Sutton. Will does a nice job of holding up the 2 defensive linemen. Stay focused on Shea McClellan, though, because he's got active feet. He's got to make sure he stays in a position where he avoids blockers, but also stays to his responsibility. That is a nice job. As soon as this offensive lineman tries to come upfield and get to the second level, Shea is already inside the defensive formation. Shea gets to the point of attack quicker than that offensive lineman can get to the second level and makes an impact tackle. Active linebacker, active feet. That's what's going to get you to the tackle. Okay, the last time we saw Shea McClellan, he was on the front side, strength in the formation. Here still is the tight end over here. It's going to be it's going to consider it a strong side. So when you put Shea McClellan on the backside, it even takes more discipline. You don't want to get caught up in the flow of the offensive line or the play. You want to make sure you have backside discipline because the backside cutback lanes today are just as important as the point of attack. So let's put this play in motion. You see Shea McClellan. He follows the initial movement of the offensive line but doesn't overcommit. You got this lineman trying to get to the second level to get Anderson. Shea McClellan, again, discipline. Look at the running back. Cuts right back to him as you see Shea, active feet. Keep his head up, understands what's unfolding in front of him. He's in a perfect tackling position. Never leaves his backside responsibility. If he would overcommit, you think of the hole and the success this play would have. All right, now last but not least, the Rams are going to put this play in motion. They're going to put a tight end in motion to see how the Bears' defense adjusts. You see Christian Jones come up to support the line of scrimmage. Sam Acho reorganizes himself in place of the tight end. But now you got to watch Shea McClellan to the front side. Look at the action of the offense with the lead back. They're going to try to pull this whole defense towards the sideline. As Shea sees the motion of the play, the motion of the lead blocker, now he understands cutback. It's about being active at the tackle. We talked about his active feet. We talked about his head up, understanding the flow of the offense. But this is what you got to do. When you get yourself in a position to make the tackle, you got to be active. Yeah, there's going to be some gain to it, but watch Shea. He gets in a position to make the tackle. He reaches for the football. He's able to tackle and strip. Look at this thing. He's able to strip it, ball's out, Shea's on top of it. That's a great display of linebacker play because we saw all 3 phases of front side, backside, and now active tackling when they're trying to flow you out of position. This is a heck of an effort by Shea McClellan. Coming back off of injury, but it's active feet that keeps him in the right spot. Thanks for watching.
Back on Behind the Schemes, presented by State Farm. It is time to journey into the minds of our grumpy old coaches. Both you guys have some things in common. Obviously, both former head coaches, but also both former offensive coordinators at big-time programs. And one of the decisions you have to make when you take over a program, what offense are you going to run? West Coast offense or spread? Those are your two choices. Which one would you take?
I would go with the West Coast offense for several reasons. I want to be balanced on 1st and 10, which is the most important down in football. It's also the down that happens the most, and it's also the down where the defense has to balance up. They have to defend both the run and the pass, and I think you can attack that defense better from the West Coast. I want to be able to be good in short yardage, goal line, certain running situations, and I think the West Coast offense gives you that. And I want to be able to recruit the best quarterbacks in the country, Mason. I think the best quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school ultimately want to play in the NFL. They want to take a snap from underneath the center, not from the spread, because they see themselves going to the NFL with the next snap.
Well, I can see your point, but all I care about is winning, Jerry. And I like the spread offense. And you accuse me all the time of being old-fashioned. And I guess I am in some ways. So I'm going to take a little old and a little new. I like the spread offense because, exactly like I said, you spread them out all over the field, and there's really less critical blocks that have to be made. I'm going to qualify this with saying I need a running quarterback. I want the running quarterback spread offense because one of the plays that I really want to feature is all the wishbone principles, and that's the old. And I think when you can spread them out, utilize a running quarterback with the wishbone option principles and also that quick passing attack, I think it's awful hard to defend.
Yeah, I do think it has something to do with what program, or it would for me, what program you're taking over. I think the spread is a great talent neutralizer, and if I didn't think I could recruit the best players in the country, I think I would maybe do an option or the spread.
And yet you've got a national championship team in Florida that certainly doesn't neutralize talent or need to neutralize talent, and they're a spread team. I mean, you can do it in a lot of different ways. I find it interesting that I think Glenn Mason, I think power run game, and you're telling me you want a spread now?
Hey, it's the new Glenn Mason. I'm trying to get a job.
I do think that we'll watch the Florida offense evolve. I think that's more of a product where Urban Meyer had coached before.
Why would it evolve?
Because
he's winning national championships.
No, because once they lose Tim Tebow, I don't think the next quarterback will be that type, and I think you'll see a change. You will not see an offense based on a running quarterback at Florida when Tim Tebow leaves.
You agree with that?
That's my prediction.
I don't agree. I think that's Urban Meyer's offense, and he's got enough attraction. He'll get a guy that's a running quarterback, and you'll see the spread.
I don't think so. It'll be interesting to see. I think he'll evolve.
We'll revisit this in
I
a
hope
couple
we
of years.
do. I love revisiting when I'm right. I mean, we really should.